Doing transitions. Do 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 do. We're about to be here. Yes, we are. Get da da. All right, everyone. Welcome to session 4 of Fragment of Remains. Sorry for being a bit late. Some of us just got caught up in work, but that's okay. We are all here for your D&D enjoyment. So let's just go quickly down the line. Everyone have a good week. Quick yes or no's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, been great.
Perfect. All right. Well, like I said earlier, I tried to trim a little bit of the fat from the recap. So let's just go ahead and jump right into that and get into our game. So when we last left off, it was March 22nd, year 1101, just after 12 p.m. as Zanashi went to see Veriber's Metal Forge at Real Steel about her great axe. Finding the great axe to be crafted quite well, she is very happy with it and heads back immediately to the guild hall after a thorough inspection. This is when Zanashi spots Modar, Togo, and Alencia going over some maps, planning the best route to Raisk. After conversing as a small group, you all decided to take the road east from Vala and follow it south to Moga and then eventually to Raisk, roughly estimating a 2 to 3 week journey just to make it there. As the decision is made on which path to travel, Zanashi informs each of you of the new Great Axe name, the Elf Mutilator, as she gives a intimidating stare over to Alencia. The next day, on March 23rd, you all meet up, grabbing a meal in the tavern in the guild hall and setting out, but not without Modar speaking with his master and receiving a warning that something is not right in the air. Eventually, reaching the night of March 24th, these words seem to ring true. As each of you set camp in Alencia and Zanashi lay their heads to take rest, Modar and Togo see as the sky illuminates with a purplish hue, coming from their southeast direction, collecting in what's seeming to migrate to the northwest before disappearing over the horizon. Togo and Mordar informs Zanashi, and then Zanashi informs Alencia of this, even with them being unsure what it actually was. And as they keep their eyes out during their watch, they notice nothing. The next morning on March 25th, each of you gather your belongings and continue on south. Nearing 11 a.m., Zanashi, Togo, and Alencia notice 3 carts with crates and a chest. As Modar daydreams about what to do once they accomplish finding this floating city and what they seek and the knowledge it may contain. Zanashi takes a closer look, noticing 4 out of place mounds of snow with a red tint to them. Finding it out soon to be snow-covered bodies, they seem to have died from hypothermia, possibly attempting to push it through the night. A low hum is heard, as in bluish frog-like creatures begin to appear out of the snow. A fight takes place, and it may have been a tad closer than each of you anticipated, but you all succeed. It is the afternoon of March 25th as we continue our game, as the wind whistles and the sun is just overhead after we finish our combat. First things first, so I don't forget again for another session in a row, I do owe you guys your 2 previous sessions, including the combat. So that will put you all at gaining 375 experience each, which should put you, if my numbers are correct, 1,669 experience out of the 2,700.
Correct.
So,
How much was that? 300 what?
375 for each of you.
And you said 1,669?
Correct. If I
Okay,
was
yes.
correct and Clue agreed so far.
That's what I have, so.
Yep.
Well, you all have just kind of vanquished these creatures with, a little bit of, kind of shown a little bit of formality. Zanashi pretty much was splitting the heads and decapitating these creatures as they hopped around, poking and prodding each of you, well, I guess all except for Modar, with their daggers. So, the plan when we left off was for each of you to go through these crates and check the carts and also the bodies of not only the dead people, but the dead creatures as well.
Yes, I definitely want to start taking a look at the bodies and see if I recognize the species and all of that kind of thing.
I'm gonna look at the bodies, but specifically make a point not to touch them.
Okay. So here's what I'll ask. Those inspecting any of the bodies, the people or the creatures, give me an investigation check and tell me how you're going about it.
To start with, I'm not going to be touching anything, but using my staff to kind of, to open up and take a look and look over the bodies and what they're carrying. Look in and see if there might be some sort of, something special about maybe their glands or their tongue. Like look at them because it was their touch that, if I remember correctly, it was their touch that was hurting. Did they have any other special attacks? I don't think they didn't like breathe like ice or anything like that, right?
No, they did not.
They did a breath attack that feared me, right?
It was not a breath attack. It was,
It was like filling in their vocal cords,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But it's not a breath
Okay.
attack.
I remember something with their mouth, but
Yeah.
I'm mostly just gonna go looking over the equipment that they have and not touching them. Maybe like kind of poking them with my rapier and kind of moving arms out of the way, just seeing if they seem familiar. I probably wouldn't have seen these creatures exactly, but if I've seen anything even closely related to them, just trying to get a gauge of whatever the heck they are and kind of look at them because they're cool.
Yeah. So, Modar, when you're kind of going over the creatures and looking for all the things that you indicated, you'll see that this creature has a bluish tipped dagger, and the hilt is made of stone. It also seems like when you poke it with the bottom of your quarterstaff, like you'll see like a little bit of blue liquid kind of ooze out from some of its glands, and as soon as it kind of starts to hit like the air outside of the gland, you'll see it start to just like ice over and then like fall away. And then other than that, it's not wearing any clothing or anything of that nature. Togo, when you're going over the chest, right? Just double checking.
I was gonna look at the frogs first, but then I was gonna
Yeah,
make my way to
and
the
then
chest. Yeah.
And then you wanted to also see what these things are comparable to. So, with
Mhm.
that, as you're kind of like looking it over, give me a history check and see if you can recall any information that might be useful.
Probably not.
So you'll remember like kind of like a slight resemblance in some of the tales you've heard in taverns when you were writing songs, and while they don't look anything like it, they do have some, I guess, standout similarities, as you would know creatures like this to be kind of like grungs, but grungs being more associated with poison, it kind of leaves a few extra questions in your mind.
Grungs, you said?
Correct.
Knowing this, Ticker would say, has anyone ever heard of grungs? These aren't like a perfect match for him, but it's the closest thing that I could think of that they might be.
No,
Is that something I've heard of?
cannot say that I've ever heard of a grung.
I don't know. Kind of cool
Did you
creatures,
ask
though.
a question, Modar? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was asking if that sounded familiar to myself.
I mean, you're a pretty well-educated individual. Go ahead and give me a history check as well. See if you can pop up any information. Oh yeah, I mean, in your studies, you'd be like pretty well versed in this, like pretty as much as like kind of Zanashi kind of said, like these frog-like kind of humanoids that have a very good jumping capability, but grungs mostly excrete poison and utilize that to their defenses, and not so much the cold as these ones seem to do.
They're like
Alright.
ice grungs.
I am going to take one of my oil flasks and dump it into the bullseye lantern, make sure that's filled, and then I want to try and see if I can get any of this blue stuff into the empty flask. Like, kind of be very careful and kind of use I've got my tinker tools to try, and I've got a small knife, and see if I can maybe
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll it? I believe your tools are basically like intelligence. I would also think that this would take a steady hand, which would probably kind of imply with the check anyways, being like if we're talking about like alchemist or like poison tools. Want to make sure we're on the same page with that first.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know, like whatever those. The only toolkit that I personally have on me is Tinker's tools, so figure there might be something in there that I could use to. I don't actually have any alchemist tools or anything like that, but
Yeah, so I would say with like this, like if you are able to come up with something, then without being like proficient in it, I would ask you to give me a like a dexterity saving throw, probably.
then I am proficient with medicine.
Is at first I was thinking of an animal handling check. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, because like you would know how to like have to handle it and as well, because like you obviously know if you touch it with just like your skin, it's going to like hurt you after what you guys just experienced. So it's definitely going to be like an animal handling style of figuring out how to go about it. So animal handling, I think is
You want
fair.
animal handling? All right.
Yeah, it's going to take you a bit of time, especially going about it in a careful manner, making sure that, you know, if you do even have to adjust the creature in any particular manner to where you can actually extract the, I guess, glands as well as you can, you're going to obviously need to, like, cover your hands, rolling it over, you know, maybe even, like, kind of propping its feet over on the edge of the cart and kind of hanging its head down so everything just like drips below. It'll take you roughly about 30 minutes, which will give everyone else enough time to go through each of the creatures, the crates, and the people as well if they wish.
Toga will definitely poke around like the chest next to him, and he'll go and like check pockets of people trying to look for papers, identification papers, things like that. He's assuming they'd probably keep that on their person, but just trying to figure out who they are and what they were traveling for.
And there's a lock on the front of the chest?
Yes, on the one that you're near, there is a lock on it. Valencia, the ones that you're near, you'll see like all you have to do is just kind of like pry them open a little bit. Most of them containing like just various like supplies, tabards, cloaks, Each of those finely made with, you'll see a bit of coin in there, along with some rations and like heavy furred blankets. Once you guys go through everything, I'll give you the lumps total, the lumps total, in a post in Discord.
I'm going to take my battle axe and smash the lock.
Give me an attack roll at advantage. It's not moving. It's going to be easy to hit, but it is still a small target. And you connect solidly to like the padlock style, and you just like chop it, and the top of the lock still hangs there, kind of holding the latch down and in place as the rest of the lock just kind of falls into the snow below. Who needs a lockpick, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so I will open the chest.
In the chest, you find there to be more of a variety of cloaks, tabards. There are mirrors in there as well, small silver ones. You'll also see a ceramic idol, which you will immediately be able to determine is an idol of the god of war, Vader. And it is made out of pewtered stone, kind of just like crafted with the holy symbols upon it, which is pretty much what is like a dead giveaway for you. You'll also notice two shiny vials in there emitting a red light.
I want to take one of the silver mirrors.
When you lift it up, you'll hear something kind of like fall as like the cloth kind of like brushes up against some of the extra coin that lines the bottom, and the cloth will give off like a bit of a clink and a clack as it hits. And then once you look into the mirror, though, you see a very pretty half-orc.
So I take the mirror and I go sit on one of the carts and I just start checking myself out in the mirror.
Okay, so
Do I find any like identification stuff of who these people are when searching them, or is it mostly just supplies?
yes, you
and
do
stuff like that?
actually. I mean, taking the time that's going to be like allotted for Modar to like kind of drain this, I'm not really necessarily worried about like investigation checks, because it would just kind of rule itself over in time with how much or how long you guys will kind of be here. You do
We
find
have the time of like 30-40 minutes as he does that.
exactly. I estimated him taking about 45 minutes, and I had written down in my notes it would roughly take about 30 minutes to like go through all the chests and see what all this is. So with him doing that, I figured you guys would have more than enough time. You do find some notes on there. You will notice on the note immediately being a tab from the Snow Hare Guild, and it is a white tab, and on it it just states meant to be shipped to the Order of Light, and that is all that you can read. The rest is covered in blood and makes it impossible to see the font or the ink on the parchment.
Is it still wet? Is it a risk of like falling apart if I, or is it
Oh, I mean, I would imagine
like
it
kind of
being
dried?
frozen at this point.
Okay, okay. I'd take all the papers and stuff that I could find, and it says it's a tab to be shipped to who?
The Order of Light's leader, Dury. When you collect like all the information, that's like the only extra piece you can pick up.
Okay. And I would set out the papers in one of the carts for other people to go through if they wanted to, but if it looked like Modor could have a distraction, I'd point this out to him, ask him, hey, do you know who the Order of Lights is? But if it looks like he's concentrated and paying attention, I probably wouldn't want to disturb him while he's messing with death frogs. I don't know how much of his attention this is taking to do this.
I'm definitely concentrating, trying to make sure I don't freeze my own hands.
Okay, then I will bring it up later. And just keep searching and poking around, seeing if I find anything interesting. And
You will find something else interesting, but I'm just putting all the information right now in the Discord for you guys.
works.
All right. So obviously you all won't know like the total amount, but what I did break down is all like the big chunk kind of things as well. I did include your total amount. It would just be unbeknownst to your characters at this time. The 5 gold, 2 silver, and 20 copper is going to be multiplied by 4. So when you go through the bodies, you'll essentially get 20 gold, 8 silver, and 8 silver and 80 copper. Once you go rummage through all the bodies, and then eventually, towards like the end of everything, like kind of when you're like pulling all the chests together and figuring out like your full haul or whatever you all plan to do with this, you do see this type of odd glove with a circle in the center, and it seems to be giving off like a red light. You'll see that it's got straps that go around it, and it just looks very, very odd. The only information that you all would be able to find on this odd object is a piece of parchment with the words written on it. Make sure I get this right. To Dury, here is your explosive support processor doodad.
That sounds like a certain goblin I know. Does anyone know where this Order of Light is?
It's in the sky. Look up.
I'm guessing it's probably not the sky because they were traveling on the ground. They could have just thrown this thing in the air if it was up there.
Is that a history check or a religion check, or do I need to make a check for that?
For the
Order of the Light.
Oh, the Order of the Light. I wasn't sure if you're talking about that or the doodad. History, for sure.
I guess I should probably make a history check as well. Since I'm not from this area originally, you want me to make it at disadvantage?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I'll lower the DC for you too. No, you're not even when I lowered it. So, Modar, you would know that let me pull it up. So much fun information. The Order of Light resides in the city in Moga and wars openly in control for it. And I'm trying to make sure I remember the other faction's name.
Moga is a city or a region?
It's the city that has the cool or the big opera house, or the stage in it,
Okay,
the
yeah.
performance hall.
Yeah, I'll get those the other parts of those notes pulled up for you in momentarily.
Yeah, if you go to PM me something or whatever, and you don't want to do it over chat over this, I get it.
Yeah, I just gotta take out some of like the DM note perspective, and then I'll send you the details that you need. I mean, I can still just like say it out loud, but I just gotta make sure I read it correctly. But carry on.
Yes, the Order of Light is they're one of the warring factions in Moga.
I mean, we're headed there already. If it's being shipped from the Snowhair Guild, it would probably behoove you if you want to deliver it, Modar. If we're gonna go through there already.
Yes, but in order to deliver it, I think we would need to find some beasts of burden in order to move these carts. I don't see us.
The only
We can
thing that
take
we're
a
moving is
few.
or that we need to take is the glove.
Well, I mean that it's definitely. I believe that is the most valuable thing here. I'm not sure what these like. Are these like really nice clothes? Like nicer than what we're wearing?
Yes, very much so. The
Because a lot of
notes.
this looks like it's
Oh, I'm sorry.
food, traveling goods, and a couple of like trade goods, but in terms of what the guild is sending, I'm assuming it's just the glove, which would be all that you would be responsible for if you were to, or that the guild would be responsible for. Everything else just looks like they're merchants that were traveling along the roads.
Is that the what I'm feeling out of this, or am I feeling like this was a whole like kind of like what we did to that other village, like where we took the we were responsible for taking goods that we were hired to bring. Well, I guess yeah, no, those were we were hired as individuals to take it for somebody else. All right, gotcha.
And plus, a lot of this stuff is ceramic idols of a war god, fine cloth cloak, fine cloth tabard. Like a lot of that stuff looks like something that someone would be buying someplace and selling, or goods that they're intending to sell if these are just kind of travelers. I don't know what kind of clothing are these people wearing. Do they look like they're wearing finer clothes? Are they more like? Do they look like merchants?
No, from the information that you'll gather upon like the bodies, like you'll see that each of them have like a pendant from the Snowhair Guild, and they don't look to be like any like more distinguishable in like an economic class from each of you. Um, you know, middle lower class style.
And I would probably know if this was like a common route. My guess is that we do business semi regularly with Moga and kind of do send goods back and forth.
Well, I would say that you all take this for whatever you will. If you think that all of these were supposed to go there and it's like all one shipment, that's fine. If you think like these were merchants and they were just like part of the guild and like merchant maybe like part-time job and they were going to sell that stuff, you know, draw your own conclusions. I think that's part of the fun.
Got it.
Oh, no, I understand that, but my my question was, do I know?
Do you know if like you guys would venture out that far?
Does the guild regularly send shipments to Moga for trade? That's the question I'm getting at. Okay.
No, you guys wouldn't have like a trade route established. That would have like nothing to do with the guild. That would be with like the city economics itself.
And everybody that we come across has a guild pendant on it.
Correct. After rummaging through everybody and robbing the dead corpses of their coin. You'll also notice pendants. Togo.
Got it.
Do the pendants have anything, like, if I look at these people, do I recognize any of them?
You might recognize like a couple of faces, but like nothing like intimate, like well, intimate relationship sounds kind of open-ended and dirty. Like they'd be familiar faces, but not like friends or anyone that you like struck up
I get that.
conversations with.
Is it common practice to collect the pendants, to not leave them out for anybody to grab, or not?
The most that you would probably have dealt with in your time is seeing pendants and stuff come back, but along with like a tab to basically like let them know like, hey, we found this. The job either was or wasn't completed. This is the up-to-date information.
Gotcha. All right. And we did find a tab that was kind of like
Little
messed
bloodied.
up, bloodied up. Yeah, I'll take that tab and the pendants. And at this point, look around. Do we see any beasts of burden or anything like that, like horses that would have been pulling these carts around, or those already look to be dead and eaten or whatever?
Yeah, you don't see any around. I'll include that with like the search. Like nothing is close by. No footprints are noticed. Anything of that sort.
Yes. Well, it looks like unfortunately they did not make it. I would definitely suggest we take this this doodad with us, and anything else of value. Maybe try and hide as much of the other stuff as we can to come back for later, or send somebody from the guild back for later. But by the time we see the guild again, I'm sure this stuff will have already been pillaged.
We can hide as much as we can and draw a map and send it back. Is there like mail couriers that we can use, or can we pay someone to take letters and stuff like that? Or is there established like mail system? Do we have mail?
You could send a messenger, like hire someone to deliver the message for you, or potentially find someone that knows that spell.
Yes,
Got
just I've already looked. I don't have it. I was like, damn it all. That would be too easy. Add it to the list. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Well, once we get into the to Mogo, we can see what we can do from there. But like I said, I would suggest we take the doodad and any of the potions, and anything else of any immediate value.
Anyone have a shovel? Or do we find any shovels amongst as like kind of odd items, or no?
Why would you need a shovel?
I believe he's
Depending on
talking
how
about.
much.
I don't think we're digging graves right now.
Oh no, I was talking about burying what we don't take so that people can.
Gotcha.
He's gonna draw someone a treasure map.
Exactly.
And then have them take it back.
Arg. First I'd be a spy, now I'd be a pirate.
What I will say is I think it would be best for you guys to probably like deliberate in what you are going to take and then what you would leave behind. So for like an example, like just thinking think like the miscellaneous things like the furs and that blankets and stuff that are kind of just used for like the packing would probably be like one of the first things to go. But
Unless we really feel we need some warmer clothes. What we're carrying on is warm enough, right? For this area that we've been, yeah.
again, as long as you guys aren't out at night or caught in like really, really bad weather, you guys are fine. But I mean, personally, I think you guys like have enough. It's not like these crates are really huge, but anyways, Zanashi, what are you trying to talk to Alencia about?
I just gave up and just put it as an emote.
I know you guys kept trying to jump in. That's why I was trying
I
to jump
don't
to you.
know.
Which, granted, like the stuff you put in here is not that, shouldn't be that much weight. I don't know how much a ceramic idol would weigh though.
Dang, you just wanted to diss on her. So yeah, I'll let you guys think about it for like a brief moment, but overall, I think that like, I mean, you guys could probably load it up on like one cart and in their crates and just take it all with you and pull it.
Can we pull the cart?
Yeah, I think Zanashi's pretty strong, and Alencia is pretty dexterous. I think it would be somewhat possible.
Are the carts in working order still? Like, I wasn't sure the condition of the carts.
All the carts are fine. All the wheels are intact. No cracks on the wheels or any broken like spigots or anything. I think that's what they're called. I don't know.
Yeah, if I feel that we can, if I feel that we can move these carts and go without any issue, I would definitely be. I would prefer to do that to finish the job for these individuals. I definitely, Zanashi, do you think the two of you can pull one of these carts?
Why would we pull a cart?
So you can sell the stuff there and make gold. Alencia, you want to take it because you want to complete the mission that these people who have lost their lives trying to complete a goal, you want to complete their goal. Make them feel accomplished. Finish the will of the dead.
We get there, we sell these items, and who knows, we might be able to purchase a horse or something to pull the carts ourselves and have a much easier travel the rest of the way.
Can you give me just an hour? I need to go for a walk.
Well, if you need to go for a walk, you do that, but it's hard to say how long it'll be safe here. We've been ambushed once. They may have friends, so be careful.
How wounded does Alencia look? Is the health bar accurate over her head? Is she looking a little rough? Okay. Togo would cast Cure Wounds on her. Level 1.
Nice heal.
That is a nice heal.
That is 100 max, so I'm
Yeah,
pretty great.
For a minute, I was like, dang, what's your modifier? That's only a D6, right? And then I was like, oh yeah, it's a D8. Still a good roll, but I was just like, dang, that modifier.
I mean, it's a +4.
So I'm going to walk off and basically I'm kind of going to go hunting, but not to kill something. I'm looking for a large beast. When I say large, I don't want a freaking rabbit.
Yeah, you're looking
An
for
elk
like
or
a
a
beast
deer.
of burden.
Yes.
Okay, Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Dang.
So as you're out looking about, you begin to think that you hear some sounds coming off to like the west of your current location, and as you kind of start to approach, the sound disappears, and then you hear an immediate rumble, and it feels that like the ground is shaking beneath your feet. And can everybody give me a dexterity saving throw? Each of you, not just Anashi.
Is this an effect?
No, this is just because of the time frame that you were out when you went to go do it. Or maybe it is an effect.
I'm just asking because I get advantage on effects.
For this in particular thing, yes. You'll get advantage. So, as you feel like the ground beneath your feet begin to like shake and rumble, you can hear like the snow kind of start to like fall from the trees as it hits quite heavily on the ground below, just in like hitting it, making it a loud. And the rest of you are feeling kind of like the same effects, the ground shaking beneath your feet and like the low rumbling and roar of the Elista's crust. And Modar, you actually lose your balance and fall into the snow. And luckily enough for you, like the grung-like creature kind of falls off the cart and just falls inches away from touching you. But then after just a few brief seconds, which kind of feel like hours probably, as the ground is shaking beneath you, everything dissipates and becomes still.
I begin heading back.
What on earth was that? Is that common up here, Modar?
I don't believe I've ever felt anything like that.
What is up with these things happening? First that purple light the other day, or other night, and now this? Actually, that was last night. Last night. And now this? The earth is literally shaking?
It's hard to say what would be causing something like this at the moment. These are definitely strange times.
Interesting times, for sure. I'm assuming while Zanashi's gone, we're all moving the crates and stuff into
You
one
guys
cart.
are getting everything collected in one, not leaving anything behind, correct?
Yeah, as much as if we feel like we can get everything into one, we're definitely doing that.
Okay, I mean, can easily be done. As said, like these crates and everything aren't too large. Everything that I handed you, it wasn't like the information, by the way. It wasn't like what's in each of these crates. It's like in total, FYI. Just in case there was any
Gotcha.
discrepancy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, it can be done in probably about like 10 minutes after like you all kind of regain your composure after the ground stops shaking. Zanashi has made her way back.
I'll push the cart, Modar, but you're going to help.
Oh, definitely, of course. And I'll move towards the back and make it look like I'm helping.
I'm gonna grab like 4 of those rations, if no one objects to that.
Yeah, no, go right ahead.
So with you guys loading everything up onto one of the carts and beginning to try to like push, um, you know, and get the cart moving along, each of you that are attempting to kind of maneuver this cart, please give me a athletics or acrobatics check.
Acrobatics.
If you're pushing, pulling, whatever you're doing to get this cart going down the road.
Oh no, I'm perfectly fine with that. That is my kind of role.
Oh yeah, you guys got plenty. So, I mean, it'll, you know, be a little wearing on your bodies as you all maneuver the cart down the road. But with that, I will move everyone back to this map. And then zoom way in. So, with the amount of time and everything, after the battle had ended and collecting the vial of goop from the gland, we'll call it, it would have been roughly around like an hour, maybe a little bit over at that point. So you guys would be just near like the middle of the day, 12 p.m., continuing on. So are you all continuing down the road as originally planned, or is there new plans amongst the development?
No, these goods are supposed to be going to Maga. That's yeah. Well, we're keep on heading that direction, unless anybody's objecting to it.
How far is this Magda away?
It's the
Moga, if you look on your map, is about 4 or 5 squares away.
It's a few days, but we've got the ice lookout and a couple of villages before then. We might be able to find some place to buy, to see if we can purchase some horses.
Oh, I know how far away it is, Kyle. It's just my character is not real good at reading maps, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought like there might have been something messed up and you couldn't see it.
No, we should. It should not take us long to get there.
4
We'll
or
be
5
back.
days. You want to push a cart that far?
Think of the gold at the end. Think of all the gold that we'll get for it, and we'll complete a mission that was not quite completed by other members of the guild. Reputation and gold. That's what you'll gain out of this.
I could care less about the reputation, and that's a lot of work for gold.
Don't forget Alencia is typing in chat, so if you guys want to answer her questions.
A caravan? Well, we do. Usually a caravan would be more than one cart, but this is close to a caravan. But it would be nice to have something else to pull it with other than ourselves here.
Well, let's get a move on.
So as you all are making your way, pushing, pulling, taking turns, swapping shifts, the day will lead you to where you get to at your current location. As the sun kind of begins to set, and you can feel the warmth from the air kind of dip down a little bit, indicating it is time to set camp.
While they're setting camp, I'm going to go back out again.
All right. Well, it shouldn't be hard to beat your last survival check. Not at
Alright.
all. Great roll. So, let's see what you find. Oh, the dice have spoken. You find a medium-sized moose, kind of
I
pushing up and scraping some of the snow off of a bush with its antlers and revealing some berries kind of falling upon the ground as it kind of begins to snack upon them.
I am going to cast Speak with Animals on myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to casually approach the moose, softly talking to it. And I want to try to convince it to pull a cart for us.
All right. So, as you begin to approach this moose, and can you give me a stealth check? As it's seemingly quite distracted with these berries that it's kind of unveiled onto the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It perks its head up and meets direct eye contact with you, and you can see it kind of like chewing, and its legs kind of spread as it tenses up just a tad bit. But when you start speaking in a a calm tone to it, what are you saying?
Be easy, my friend. I need your help. And I am a friend.
Berries? Food?
I can make sure you are fed well.
Just kind of gives you a little bit of a once over, and can you roll me a persuasion check? And we'll call this one normal since you kind of spooked a little bit already, but being negated from the advantage with being able to communicate with it. Another fantastic roll. It'll kind of sniff a few times and just say, like, berries?
Come with me, friend. And we shall see that you're protected and also you are fed.
It'll slowly kind of like make its way over through you, like brushing its legs through the snow and creating like a little bit of a trench as it makes its way, and eventually kind of like gets over to you and just begins to sniff you up and down. And the creature's fairly large. It probably is. I mean, even juvenile elk mooses are roughly about like what, 6 foot, maybe even taller.
Oh, yeah, they're big. They're huge. They're bigger than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're big
As it
boys.
does,
Yeah, they're
as
big
it
boys.
does get up next to me and start sniffing me, I'll reach a hand out and pet it gently.
Animal handling check, please.
Okay.
So it's like you kind of reach your hand out and attempt to pet it. Like you'll see it like it kind of like flinch its head a little bit, kind of looking up out of like the top of its eyes up to you, and then seeing that you're still moving in like a slow manner, kind of just like pauses and like tenses up as like you place your hand upon like the top of its head, and you kind of like give it a nice pet and a little stroke over like the antlers. It'll start to like stand back up and just begin to like nudge into your hand.
And I will, as I do touch it, I cast Beast Sense on it.
link that in chat? Just want to double check what it is. Okay. So, let me just double check. I wouldn't say this is necessarily a fully willing creature, but it is definitely not smart enough to be able to do anything about it. And you can see through the eyes of the moose. You hear like the wind kind of like whistling and a bit more of like a keen sense, and you can like even smell those like little bits of like berry juices that dripped upon like your lips down to the snow back to the bush, and you just hear like the rustling of Zanashi's hand kind of upon your head, and as like it kind of just pets you.
I'm going to slowly mount the moose and ride it back.
Yes, no problem.
So y'all see me come back into camp riding this big ass moose.
Togo looks up, looks back down to what he was working on, looks back at the moose. Kind of does a double take, but like a slow questioning one, and just shakes his head like, do I want to know? No. And he goes back to what he's doing.
Rub your eyes a little bit, like no, that can't be real.
But is that a moose? Huh. I don't even care. Nope.
Well,
I'm going to once I get there, I'm gonna start gathering up some twigs and stuff like that, and gathering up enough to feed the moose.
Was there any like grain or what looked like animal feed in these or in the carts?
No.
You never mentioned it, so okay.
we did get an extra 15 days of rations out of that.
Well, I have
True, but
some.
I assumed rations weren't like moose food.
I have some help for pulling the cart tomorrow, as long as we keep him fed.
So I imagine Alencia kind of standing there with like her like butcher's knife and stuff ready to go as you ride back on the moose. Ready to prepare dinner.
Hey, it's the
one's
best way to
not-
keep food fresh.
This one's not for eating, Alencia.
I don't know if you would be, but that's with your apron on that says "Don't kiss the cook."
And I'll do beast animal talk shit again. Speak with animals. This only lasts 10 minutes, but I can cast it at will. So I can communicate with the moose and start
It
giving
lasts
it
an hour.
twigs.
No, that's
No,
beast
that's
sense.
the beast sense.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so I mean, after like your speak with animals goes off, needing to take the 10 minutes, you can communicate anything. Well, not anything, but how you would say simply communicate, I guess, with the moose.
So lie down here, friend, and I will bring you food.
Moose just immediately lays down.
I just start piling twigs up in front of its face and continue gathering twigs and bringing them back. Try
Yeah,
to
the
create a
first-
huge pile until it's time to go to sleep.
The first few times when like you bring something back, the moose when you set down like the branch and twigs and things in front of it, it'll just like look at it and then be like, berries?
I know you feed on twigs from trees and bark in the winter.
It'll just like look over from like the direction you guys came and then just like look back at you. Berries?
We'll find you some berries tomorrow.
Then it'll just munch on some of the branches and twigs. But this will persist through like the 10 minutes every time like you come back, it'll just like look at you, and every time you set something down, it'll just be like, berries?
I'll kind of ignore that for the most part and see whatever's going on and sit down with my spell book and start going over that spell again tonight. Spend a couple of hours going through that.
Okay. Anything else in particular before getting some rest for the evening?
Valencia, do you have any non-meat items?
I don't.
Poor Alencia.
Huh. Okay, Moose. What is your name?
It'll just like look at you blankly.
I knew that was a dumb question. Why did I listen to an elf? Valencia, its name is Moose, and it likes berries. I mean, rations do have nuts in them too.
Yeah, it's got a variety of foods. So like when
Dried fruit.
you go and speak up to the moose Alencia, can you give me a animal handling check? So when you speak in like your nice soft voice, it'll just kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna make a moose sound because I know it's really, really, really loud, but it'll give you like a little bit of like a call back.
Valencia, don't worry so much about living up to the expectations of beasts like this. It's okay to help, but don't I won't be burdened by them.
I would argue don't or worry about the expectations of others. Like, you do you, girl.
But other than that, I'm ready to go to bed.
Same.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else once I do my reading and go through my books and stuff, and then go to bed, set up the tents.
All right. Well, the night is quite peaceful. I mean, still a little cold, but you guys have plenty of stuff to kind of keep yourself bundled up and relaxed, and everyone can get their short rest. So on the morning of the 26th, you find it to be, just a typical day. Valencia, you can start getting everything ready to go, using like the platypus and the moose that you guys have kind of saved up, and adding your extra spices and seasonings to it if you wish. Getting that prepared for everybody as you normally have taken the role of. Once everyone's awake, you guys are probably getting quite accustomed to being greeted to the nice aromas and of like Valencia's cooking. It's probably no better way to wake up. But after enjoying breakfast and getting your camp ready to go and everything, if you guys look to move out and have the moose pull the cart, we'll see how it goes.
All right. Guess I'll use my rope to fashion something off to the cart for the moose to pull it.
Give me a survival check. See how well you can tie these knots and create everything that you need to create. You're having like quite a bit of trouble with it. The main issue is not having somewhere to necessarily anchor the ropes on properly, or at least to your knowledge. You can get it around the moose and create a little bit of a harness, but the cart part is giving you a little bit of issue.
Togo, do you think you could assist me?
And tying some knots.
It's just this particular harness I'm trying to do is easier with two people. It's kind of
Sure.
hard when you're trying to reach from one side to the other.
Gladly lend a hand tying a harness.
So roll survival and see if you roll better than me.
Yes, get the same roll. Both. Technically, he rolled better than you. His modifier is just one less.
That's true.
But
I roll at advantage because of my backstory.
I'll say
This would be akin to.
I'll say it's just gonna take you guys a few extra moments to instead of you being able to secure and tie it relatively within a couple of minutes, it's a 15 to 20 minute kind of ordeal with you guys probably having some discrepancies back and forth.
Got it. For me.
Thank
But-
you, Togo.
When
I'm telling you, it should.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm telling you, it should go over the bar there, not over the bar. Much better. Come on, Sanashi. We got to get this together.
I'm just used to doing it under the bar. What can I say?
Well.
You guys figure that out up there yet?
Oh, hush.
All right, so once we get done, I guess we'll head out.
Yep.
I'm hopping on the cart.
So as you like get on the cart and get ready to steer, you can feel like the moose giving a like its pull, and the cart will begin to move, but it's moving at a pretty slow pace.
Okay,
And,
like
like each of like the
slower
rest
than
of,
we were pushing it.
like each of the rest of the party, like even Togo is like not like nonchalantly walking way faster than you.
But is it
Yes.
going slower than we were pushing the cart?
Yes. Currently it is.
Okay, I'll get off the cart and
the
I will
speed
walk
picks
up.
up.
Asshole. My character's not that fat.
It was just like that little bit of a limit. It had a differential of 5 pounds with the strength check with everything put on it, and then you got on.
Okay, so I will walk.
Is it now faster than us pulling?
It's relatively the same speed. Obviously, a lot less work.
I'm fine with that.
But as you all make your way, you will make it to about the edge of the forest, just outside the ice lookout.
The ice lookout?
Yes, the little part indicated on the map. Excuse me. But like as you guys kind of make your way up to the forest, and like the sun's beginning to set behind it, and you can see like these trees begin to cast their shadows upon like the snow. You can hear like the creaks and like a little bit of the pops of the timber coming within the forest. Just from the cold, the amount of snow kind of leaning upon the trees. Some of them just like losing branches, snow falling to the ground below.
All right. Well, I guess so. You said it's starting to get dark, so we need to start getting ready to find some place to pull over.
Correct. I mean, again, you can attempt to push through the night, but not advised.
Yes. Well, I guess we should see if we can find some place safe to set up camp here in the forest. Someplace that might have a little cover.
I'll go out and actually do some uh, foraging to see if I can't find berries this time.
Okay, give me your survival check. Okay. Describe how you're going about it for me.
Anytime I get around any kind of plant growth through the snow that's on the ground, I will kind of shovel my foot, sweep my foot through it and stuff, and try to see if it uncovers some berries and stuff, or some other kinds of vegetation that even leaves, because they eat leaves too.
Okay. So as you go about like looking through some the bushes and foliage and trying to find some of the berries or, you know, things that you'd feel like the moose would like, can you give me a perception check, please? So like as you're like kicking over the snow, as you're like kind of foraging about, you get like this weird warm feeling on like the bottom of your foot, and this, I mean, you'd be definitely familiar with it, like this just straight shit smell begins to hit your nose.
Underneath the snow?
Correct.
Why would it still be warm?
You tell me.
I mean, I would think if it's already been covered up with snow, that kind of cooled off.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
not steaming hot.
I just keep on going about my business. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
All right, no problem. Eventually, like, you know, by the time you make your way back, like, it would have probably brushed off from your boots or whatever you're wearing on your feet, your shoe coverings.
Okay.
But you were successful in the fact of collecting 2 satchels of berries, about a half a pound apiece.
Okay. I will put one satchel in my backpack, and then the other one I will bring it back and start feeding it to the moose.
And as soon as you set it down, you can see the moose's eyes like light up and begin to just scrunch down the berries.
I will give you some more tomorrow, friend. But now I must eat and rest.
And
So I'm done.
with that little time as Zanashi kind of went out to go forage, like Modor, Togo, and Alencia, you could have easily found like a nice little place to set up camp in between like a couple of the trees, maybe like a nice little snowbank that's like naturally built up against one of the trunks. This way to like block the wind a little bit from each of you, just preventing that nice little extra little bit of comfort from the wind shear.
No, that's exactly kind of looking for something like that. Set the tents up and go into checking out my spell and trying to do what work I can there.
All right, at this
Sitting
point,
on the
I'm going
back
to
of the
ask
cart.
you for another Arcana check. Nice. I mean, some of the incantations kind of give you like a little bit of like stumbling when you go upon them, like just a little bit of like the enunciation purposes, but you end up getting it in, after a few moments of repeating it, and then eventually being able to say it aloud confidently as well, and training goes well for the night other than that little hiccup. But with that, each of you can kind of get your food, taking off one of your rations for the day, as you all settle down and take your watches for the evening. Can each of you roll me a d20, please? Well, Modar, unless you roll a 0, I don't think you're getting lower than the 1.
My rolls still haven't been as terrible as you anticipated, though.
No, all I said is that you better pray. But with that, Zanashi, during the night as you're taking watch, uh, it's really quiet. Like the wind isn't even like really rattling the tents as much because of like the snowbank kind of like blocking that like little howl, but you can kind of like hear that little bit of like the echo just kind of like trickling as it goes through the forest. And with that, can you give me a perception check, please? So, as you're, you know, more than likely kind of just like staying like kind of like wrapped up near the tent, being able to go back in and out to like, warm up just for like a tad instead of being like out in the bitter cold. Um, when you go like inside the tent to kind of just like warm your hands a tad bit, you hear off in the distance. Uh, then it goes quiet.
I stand up, get my battle axe at the ready, and start trying to look around to see where it came from.
So as you kind of scan upon and it being dark, can you roll me another perception check, please? Half orcs have dark vision, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the only thing you see is like you're kind of like scanning upon like through the woods. You do catch like a small glimpse of like a medium-sized shadowy figure kind of just like breaking through the tree lines, but is moving away from you as it kind of like gets smaller as it creates that little bit extra of distance in between you, passing between one trunk of the tree and then it's seemingly a bit farther away when coming back into view. And then that is it.
Okay. I'll now keep be more alert. So I'll do my watch.
So the rest of your watch is uneventful, and then, it's time to wake up Alencia and get the rest of your sleep for the evening.
Valencia. There was something strange laughing during my watch, and I saw a shadowy figure heading off into the woods. So make sure that you are paying very good attention. And I'll take my rest and I sleep with my battle axe in my hand.
So the rest of the night is quiet. Um, and Lindsay, I'm sure you're probably a little bit on edge, making sure that nothing comes near the party. But like when the day breaks, you can kind of like breathe easy, knowing that it's just time to start cooking and get ready for the day. just so everyone's aware, for the stream, Alencia, we'll just mark it up. It isn't necessarily feeling the best, so we're just glad that he's here and actually being able to communicate slightly. Well, not slightly, but to the best of his abilities. Slightly is the wrong word. So, if you're curious of the conversations, it is in the dice window. So I'm sure a few people are kind of curious on why it kind of just goes quiet at those moments. Okay, so give me, I believe you have like your cooking utensils, correct? If so, just give me that D20 plus your intelligence modifier. Yeah, so I mean, from being quite the experienced cook that you are, you would know that with even though you are experienced in going a little bit something outside of your realm, you'll kind of have just like charred the meat just like a little bit tad more than you would know needed to be done. Nothing that's unedible, but would just kind of like give it maybe that little bit more unexpected well done taste. So it should be at 9. It'll be just a tad bit better. Again, something that's not unedible to begin with, but you know, just a little bit overcooked. But don't fret. Keep in mind you're only cooking for like a half orc and stuff. How picky can she be? But with that, everyone can kind of, you know, wake up to, you know, the same familiar smells, uh, you know, of the cooking. And I mean, unless anyone has like a exquisite palate, I'm pretty sure everything is up to par for everyone. Oh, don't say that.
Oh, it is perfectly fine. We appreciate it, Owens. Yeah.
It is food. Food is good.
Something just a little bit different. That's all. Well, I believe we should hopefully be able to make it to the iced lookout by the end of the day. Do I know anything about the iced lookout?
You'll know that it's not a town. You'll know that it is like a guard checkpoint of like a large tower. Being
Do I know who mans this guard checkpoint?
You can roll me a history check for that one. Then clicked it twice, rolled the same thing twice. Can't
Well,
be
I
mad
only
at
ran
that.
it. I just double clicked its habit off of Fantasy Grounds.
Oh yeah, so
I only had one roll. I just had one roll on mine as well. I don't know.
the
It
sheer
took
luck
two.
though, both 18s still.
Well, no, like it only actually rolled one set of dice on my
Oh.
D&D Beyond. Yeah.
Way less cool then. You would know that it's like kind of formed of some of the guards from Bexley and Gilead. The towns closest to it, just to the west and the south.
All right, so it's not by like the snow hares have nothing to do with it.
No, nothing to do with it. It's just like kind of like a manned outpost for going into like the forest. or before going in, I guess you could say, or when exiting, depending on which way you go in.
Or is it like a customs point that we have to go through or not?
I wouldn't necessarily call it like a custom checkpoint or anything. It's just like a guard outpost. Like if it's late, like like you can stay there for like an example. Just mingle, have like a nice place to stay that's not outside.
The woods are dark and scary. They have a place to make sure the dark and scary doesn't come and touch their towns.
Yeah. I mean, with the aspect of it also being cold, I mean, I don't think that you guys would necessarily want to travel through like the forest at night.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I gotcha. Well, no, like I said, I just wasn't sure if it was, yeah, because I'm not sure. Like, are there actual nations, or are they all just kind of like city states?
There are nations. Some of them in the areas are more city states, but you would know like pretty much like Vala's like kind of like reign or territory, for an example, kind of for like the Snowhair Guild will say like kind of ends at this forest. Like that's the boundary.
All right, gotcha.
So that means that the
I'll have to
caravan was killed on Vala territory.
correct. I'll have to like make up like the territory like layout like map or something so I can like hand it out to you guys for at least like the neighboring areas that you would know of. But to give you an idea, it kind of looks like what Clue does for us with the Tomb of Annihilation.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It's just too clustered to have all that on this, especially with like the town names. That's all. I'll give it to you guys in like a handout. Probably be something good to create for every one of the campaigns too. But your breakfast is good. It's up to everyone's standard. You guys ready to trek through the forest and head on out?
Yep.
So about like halfway through the forest, you can see that like the tree, like the canopy line's kind of like breaking and blocking out the sun from certain points. But when you guys reach about that halfway point, can everyone give me a perception check as the canopy becomes quite clear? And the trees kind of start to like break away just a tad bit more.
Modar and La La Land.
Everyone except for Modar can start to see like as you guys are going through like the forest, the top points of the tower that lies ahead. And being like from the distance you can see that it's a fairly tall structure. I mean, exceeding over the tree line.
Oh, look! What's that up there?
Looks like some kind of settlement.
Why would you put a settlement in a forest? Or at least a snow-covered ice forest. I get like a normal forest, but it'd be cold here at night. Why would you willingly do that to yourself? Like living next to the forest, I understand. Living by the forest, having trails in the forest, but like living in the forest makes zero sense to me in my opinion. At least here.
Well, let's go find out.
Onward.
So as you guys continue to trek on from like the midpoint of the forest that you were at, probably being near like 10, maybe 11 at like the latest, you can make your way through a bit of the forest to where it reaches the afternoon point, 12 p.m. And this is when each of you will hear like a squall and like a caw being let out, and being drawn to the attention with it being as loud as it is, captivating everyone's sight. You see a winged creature to begin to like fly out of one of the upper levels of the tower and begin to soar and glide over the forest to your south.
Was that you? What kind of racket are you guys making over here?
That wasn't me. What are you talking about? What was that something up there?
What thing is up there moving? I didn't see anything.
I don't know. There's a thing. It went and like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not up there. I'm
I'm
down
gonna
here.
soundboard clip that for my bird calls.
I love it. Yes.
Well then, where did it come from? Did we see? Did anybody see?
I would kind of point in the area that I thought I saw it coming out of.
Well, I guess we should check and see if everything's all right in the tower then.
So
I get my battle axe drawn as we approach.
at this point, with like that squall being let out, oh my! I wish I was like way quicker at production and I already had it ready to go. That'd have been the best. But with that kind of squall being let out and that creature flying over the sky, spreading its wings and just gliding about quite elegantly. What's your guys' like pace at this point? Are you guys gonna like try to pick it up a tad bit? Still just continue at the normal pace?
Well,
I think
you
we're
said
kinda-
it went south, right? Or is it circling us?
No, it went south. It doesn't seem to have paid any mind to any of you.
I mean, when we look over towards we can see the tower. Does it look like there's like smoke or flames or anything coming out of the tower? Or...
Nope. I mean, you can see it in the distance. It's still like the bottom parts of the tower, probably really a little bit more than halfway up, are still blocked by a little bit of the tree line, but you can start to see like the quarter top of it quite easily, which is from where you saw that creature fly from.
But like I said, no like billowing smoke or anything like shit saying like a village is burning or have been attacked.
Nope.
I'm in no rush. No, that does not concern me that much. If the rest of them want to pick up speed, that's fine, but I'll keep pace with the group.
All right. Well, then we'll just keep normal pace. No need to worry. But with that, you guys finally make it out of the tree line and out of the forest, and where you can see the tower in its full view, and you can see that it's made up of 5 stories. And as like you lay your eyes upon it, you can see that like the 4th story seems to have some walls that have collapsed upon it, and the snow is kind of like built over it, and over a little bit of time that the rocks and like the rubble have laid upon themselves, kind of creating that little bit of like a entrance way from like the outside into that level. You can also see like on lower levels, it appears that there's smaller holes, roughly in 1 foot to 1.5 foot of diameter, all over the second level of the floor, and you all are met with the stench of death and decay. I think that's where we'll take our break, and we'll make this one fairly quick. Hopefully no longer than 5 minutes. We'll say we'll return at 10:06 Eastern, because by the time I get finished talking, it'll probably be 10:01. So with that, we'll pick it up right as you guys kind of like lay your eyes upon like this slightly beaten tower and kind of like fill your noses with the stench of death and rot. We'll be right back. Powering up the sound, making sure I sound good. Transitioning back because we're here. I need like intro videos and stuff. Who wants to produce this for me? Anyone down?
Cavo. I nominate Cavo.
Let's do it.
What? Huh?
Okay, the top 5 bard in the world of Elista. You will sing intro songs and stuff that I can play for when we're rejoining.
He's only like there's probably
Got
only one other bard in Elista.
That wasn't the
What
debate.
are you talking about? Definitely top 5.
So,
For
but
sure.
as you all have made your way out of the forest, just to the east of the ice lookout, you guys all can easily see like some damage that has been done upon like the tower, seemingly some time ago. Because as was indicated, no smoke, no fire, anything of that was noticed from your previous location, and also making your way a bit closer, you all did start to smell some decay and rot of just like pure and death.
Well, looks like this took place a while ago. I'd suggest we be careful going inside. Let's check this out.
You guys just want me to go in by myself? I can. If there's anything in there, I can come back and tell you guys. Just scout it out real quick.
If you feel safe going in there, go right ahead.
Do you want me to go with you, Togo?
I'm quite confident in my ability to be stealthy.
Very well. Be safe, my friend.
So, as mentioned, you're going to try to be stealthy, but I do see Alencia typing. Oh, okay. Backspacing. Re-editing.
And if you get in trouble, don't hesitate to scream.
Oh, I never do. What, me going alone, Valencia, or because you guys can go around the outside? The inside doesn't seem like it has much living.
Valencia, as long as by the smell of this, I would say that anybody that would have needed help is already passed. There may be somebody alive in there. We'll see.
So, are you going in with Togo, Alencia? Or are you proposing that everyone just goes instead of Togo going in alone?
I'm gonna turn invisible.
Okay, so then you're going with Togo. Is Togo's going as well? I mean, unless Togo's opting out at that point with that new information.
Togo will go.
Okay. So as each of you begin to approach, how far away are Zanashi and Modar going to be? I know that Modar, or not Modar, but Zanashi said if you do run into any trouble, shout. So, I mean, obviously with an audible distance, which I would imagine being somewhere in between, like, maybe 30 yards, 35 yards at max.
How tall is the tower?
From what you can see, it's got like 5 different indicated layers, so 5 stories tall.
And how far, like, off the road is it?
Off the direct path, it has a small path that leads up to it that is about 15 feet.
Yeah, I'll give like at the beginning of that path.
Okay. So, no more than 15 feet away.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come up. I won't get off the main road, but sitting at the path leading to this thing, 15 feet away.
Okay. So, Alencia and Togo, you did mention that, well, not Alencia, but Togo, you mentioned that you wanted to be stealthy. So if you all are approaching in a stealth manner, please roll me your stealth checks.
I was planning on being stealthy. I don't know about Valencia.
Yeah, me either. That's why I kind of like backtracked my statement there. Well, I think try being stealthy is going to be the best thing to kind of indicate in that previous sentence. So it's like you all approach, you're kind of like just like trudging through a little bit of the snow, and then kind of noticing that the snow's been like built up a little bit heavier with the path like kind of leading up to the tower than is on like the direct road. And then making your way up 3 stone steps and eventually reaching like this platform that kind of is just like a small little walkway that leads you to the door. And can each of you roll me perception checks from that point?
And
Oh.
I flipped back over and I thought that damn nat 20 was mine at first.
No, I'm sorry.
got
That
all
was
excited.
actually just specifically for Alencia and Togo as they were getting closer.
Oh,
I
cool.
should have specified it, but
I got a low roll out of the
got
way.
a low roll out of the way for you. Togo kind of just being like overwhelmed with like the smell of like the decay. Like it's really hard for you to like kind of bear. Maybe even just kind of like rips at you a bit emotionally. You just not being maybe as experienced in dealing with this. But Alencia, you kind of like bear through it, and you kind of keep your eyes on out looking, and your head on a swivel, and you hear the door just kind of like banging loudly, like and rattling, and then like when it kind of like draws back a little bit back to the inside of the first level of the tower, and when the sun hits it, you can see it is just like covered in scratches and dried blood that is stained on this wooden door.
The inside of the door or the outside of the door?
Outside of the door. This is just much easier noticed at like a closer distance. The sound is from the door kind of like just banging against like the stone frame of the walls. The walls of the tower. Basically, you can just kind of like see that the door's like swinging from like open and closed and just like kind of banging shut and then like bouncing back open. Just kind of being carried in the wind. Togo Alencia lets you know that she's going to go check inside. You following?
Follow Valencia. Yeah.
All right. So once you guys like make your way in, other than like the little bit of light that's kind of peering from the doorway, you can see that the majority of the floor, of which you can see, is covered in dried and like frozen blood that kind of like lines like the stone floor. Bit of snow's trickled in, kind of like piling up against this center cylinder that extends with a spiral staircase kind of wrapped around it, and you can see a body of a human male that appears to just have its abdomen ripped apart and some of its entrails kind of like just pulled out as they're kind of like laying upon the floor. And the stench at this point is getting a bit strong. So can each of you roll me a Constitution saving throw? And even with it being as strong as it is, somehow you guys are able to stomach it. I mean, you feel both your stomachs kind of like flip-flopping, but you're able to kind of just keep that lump down in your throat and press on if you wish.
I wish to press on. I'm sure Alencia does too.
So with the rest of the room kind of being encased in darkness, if you don't have dark vision, it is going to be much more difficult to see in here unless you have like a torch or something. So, I mean, other than like the light kind of like coming in through the door, but
I will. All right. All right.
so you run up the stairs there, Alencia, and Togo, you're following behind, or I
I am
know
following
halflings-
behind, probably 5 or 6 steps behind. Like I'm not as quick.
Yeah. So, Alencia, give me a perception check, and then Togo, give me yours at perception at disadvantage for not having dark vision.
Ooh.
So, somehow, like a lot of these like blood pools and like frozen places of blood are kind of like reflecting light, kind of giving you enough of the sense of an idea of like to see some things around. And it's still a bit shadowy and like difficult to see the full picture, but you do see some dead laying upon the room. You do spot 4 of them. Alencia, you're able to see the same thing. A couple of them in a little bit more detail, as like they've been ripped apart and beginning to like freeze over. One with like a spear sticking out of it and just like pinning the humanoid to the ground. And as you guys make your way up the stairs, eventually you kind of like wrap around that cylinder that's in the center and make your way up, and you're met by a closed wooden hatch.
You reckon
Assuming
they're all right?
Alencia is wanting to move up to the closed wooden hatch.
Yeah, while she's typing, what was that going on out there, Zanashi?
You reckon they're all right in there, Modar?
I don't hear anybody hollering yet, so I would assume as much, or they're already dead.
I love how you say that part not so nonchalantly, or they're already dead.
Could be something in the hatch. Why don't you go up and I'll stay more towards the back of the room and open it in case you need it. No. Operation door opening.
All right, so Lindsay, you're gonna reach up and open the hatch. Okay, Togo, how far away are you? You said that you were gonna back up. I mean, the room that you guys are in.
I mean, how big is the room?
Yeah, I was just about to say, the room that you're in, like, from like the center, like, other than going outside, which is pretty much like the only like direct light that you can see. Everything else kind of just being like encased in darkness after like X amount of feet. Like your eyes haven't fully adjusted at that point. You will notice from like that point of view of like the stairs to like that door is roughly estimating between 20 and 25 feet, maybe a little bit more, from just like a quick
I
assessment.
probably stand about 10 to 12 feet back.
No, I need you to give me a straight up answer.
11 feet.
Okay.
I split the middle.
Lindsay, as you open the hatch, can you give me a wisdom saving throw, please? So you start to feel your mind beginning to like change of like opening this hatch, and like you feel like this little bit of force kind of like pushing you away, but your will is like too strong, and you're able to like resist. But as you kind of try to jiggle the hatch, you'll feel that it's not budging. Togo, you son of a bitch! It was 10 feet of radius and distance.
I didn't think about that until after I said 11 feet. I was like, oh wait, that's right outside of a 10 feet radius. That seems kind of gamey.
Because
I
you
promise.
said the only reason I said something specific is because you said 10 to 12. So if like you would have been like, I'll be like 15, 20 feet away, like I wouldn't have even asked. But just because it was specifically 10 to 12, and then you were like 11, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
That's where you just make him roll 2 dice. You make him roll like
I
a
don't-
d4 and then go from there.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think I have anything, Alencia.
I mean, as stated, you did see a spear in one of the bodies. That might be a little bit better than a broom. So as Alencia kind of like points something out, well, first let's actually even see if you can see the pointing. Can you give me another perception check there, Togo? And while you're rolling that, before I give you the answer of your roll, let's flop back again, back outside to Modar and Sanashi. At this point, it's probably been, like roughly 10 minutes, but when you're kind of like expecting fear and like the worst or like the worst cases of scenarios, and definitely kind of experiencing some of the things we've already experienced on the road, I'm sure that this like 10 minutes at most is beginning to feel like it's dragging on a bit long. But
All
it's
right.
up to you guys.
I suppose it might be a good idea to check out and see what's going on. This is a little long. But if it was something bad, I've never known Togo to be quiet about anything.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, if somebody has hurt Togo, they'll have hell to pay. So, let's go.
We'll start moving up. Modar is definitely staying behind Zanashi.
So, with that perception check, you can't really make out like where Alencia is pointing. It just kind of seems like a little bit of like a blob at this point. But you do hear like footsteps coming up from behind you. It sounds like two pairs, and one definitely heavier footed than the other.
I bet that's Modar and Zanashi. I'm gonna go check though.
Yeah, so as you turn and you look,
Also, I can't see Alencia what you're pointing at.
as you communicate that and turn to look towards the door, this is when you do see Zanashi kind of like push open the door, revealing the room just a tad bit more, where you can see like a little more of like the dead corpses and clarity. And Zanashi, as you make your way in, can you give me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Me or
Zanashi,
them?
you're already
Okay.
inside. You're fine. So like you have like an appalled reaction. Maybe it's not even just from the sights that like you kind of like lay your eyes upon, but just like that smell that combined with it, you feel your stomach kind of like flip flop and kind of grumble, and you can't quite hold it down, and you just upheave a bit, vomiting all over the floor.
This is the nastiest thing I've ever freaking smelled.
You think this is bad? You should see some of the brothels down south. Whew!
So what I'm gonna do is flip you guys over to here. And then I'm going to reveal a bit more of the map now that you guys have kind of like gone inside as well. And then this right here. If you guys would like to add your tokens, Toga, you're probably somewhere around like this area. Zanashi, you're going to be right here. Yep, and that's perfect. Alencia, now I just need your token like a few feet behind Modar. You just got to click and drag from your name over. Perfect. So, like after you get done vomiting there, Zanashi, you'll feel yourself still being like quite uneasy, um, and like a little bit dizzy as well. And you can make your way inside if you wish, but you know those are like the feelings you're getting from that save.
I'll go inside.
As I get this close and I'm looking inside, can I see inside or is it too dark?
You don't have dark vision, right?
I do not.
No. So like what I will do is I'm going to reveal what the people with dark vision can see, but still with like that like grayish kind of hue, because like the only like direct light is in this arrowed area coming from like the door. It's like it
Well,
kind of
okay.
swings open.
The reason I'm saying that is if I'm looking in and it's looking dark, like there looks like there's no light whatsoever in there, I'm casting what is it? What do I have? I know I've got dancing lights, and I'm putting them inside.
Okay.
120-foot range, 3 dancing. Yeah.
Perfect.
You bring the lights out and you see Togo reaching into his bag, pulling out a candle and looking up and just kind of like pushing the candle back into his bag.
Well,
I was
this is
literally
gonna be
thinking
way
I
less
should light a
useful.
candle.
Yeah, so I just kind of, as I can watch in there, I just kind of like throw out the dancing lights and spread them out around the room.
Okay. Well, with the dancing lights, then those without dark vision will be able to see the room much clearer. And then at this point is when you'll see 4 mutilated bodies. Well, once you make your way in, because I will need a Constitution saving throw from you as well.
Yep, I'm getting ready to do that.
As soon as Sanashi gets out of the door, yeah, you're like, you'll still feel the same feeling, like your kind of stomach flip-flopping, but you're able to hold it down and kind of keep yourself composed. And then, like, you know, kind of gingerly stepping over the nice little pile that Zanashi has just made on the floor. When you make your way in, casting dancing lights, this is when each of you will see in clearness 4 mutilated bodies, 2 of which are just completely in a disarray, being ripped of like their intestines, and faces kind of scratched off with no eyes or skin remaining on the boned skull, as it's kind of just got like a little bit of frozen blood solidified to the cheeks and like the underpart or the orbitals of the eyes. You can also see that 2 have spears. One were both actually struck in the back and pinning down both of the humans, both males, being much easier to distinguish that fact in light. You can also see like a bloody array of footprints kind of scattered upon the room, leading from like one corpse to another, and I mean, in some sort of fashion, and definitely a noticeable track leading to the stairs and up towards where Alencia is, as she can probably now better point at the spear that she's seen, but also while shouting to you all to not come closer, and to toss her a spear or a weapon.
I will
Or
try
something.
and pull the spear that is to the lower left of me inside the person.
So it's like animal attack plus weapon attack. Like these people have been hit with weapons and like claws and teeth marks type stuff.
Yeah, like you'll notice that there's like scratches, gouges, bites, tears, like all sorts of manners. Like it's quite uncertain what these have all perished from. I mean, a little bit more certain with probably the spears, but the other 2 just seem completely mutilated. Um, but Togo, as you kind of grab the spear and try to tug it out, you'll notice that it's like a bit stuck, and I'm gonna need you to give me an athletics check.
Whew.
So it's like you kind of like
Rope.
pull and you kind of struggle a bit, and then you just hear like a and when you feel that the spear is free, you look down at like the spear tip, and you can just see like this chunk of flesh and dry or frozen blood, kind of just on like the end of the spear, stuck on a couple of the barbs. And when you look down at the body, you just see like a sizable hole that like you just like kind of pulled up and out of this corpse.
I will kind of like try to knock some of that off and throw it non-bloody side or pointy side first towards Alencia.
So you kind of like bang it on the walls a couple times, knock off like the frozen parts, and then like underhand toss it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need athletics checks from both of you.
Yes.
Togo throws, nice release. It's a nice tight spiral, and it lands nicely in Alencia's hands. And you can attempt to pry this hatch open if you wish. Pretty sure that's the plan. So I am going to need a guess an athletics. Or yeah, because you're trying to pry it open, so you know muscles.
With using it to pry, advantage or just be able to do it?
I mean, like the advantage I would give, like if someone wanted to grab like one of the ends of the spear, is like proficient in athletics to help. And try as you might, like you get the spear in nice, but like it is just like as you kind of crank it, like it's not budging at all.
Zanashi, you think you might be able to get that open?
Piece of cake. Step aside, Alencia.
Hold up, wait for her to finish talking.
What do you mean trying to keep you away?
She said that there was some kind of like mental ability. I wasn't affected by it, but I didn't come any closer.
Keeping her away from what?
Whatever's inside.
Well, if it's keeping her away, if she steps aside, she would be away, correct? What's the hatch made out of?
Wood.
Take my battle axe out. I'm gonna walk up to it and I'm gonna smash the fucking thing.
So I just wanted to say real quick, like when Togo said like, oh, like she said like something affected her, so I haven't gotten any closer. And like with his position on the map, like I imagined like his like back just like pressed against the wall at this point, like not wanting to get any closer.
Yep.
But with that, you know, with you and Alencia kind of like swapping positions so you can get like a good like upswing on this door, um, give me an attack roll. As you sink in your great axe elf mutilator, um, with a up thrust of power, it kind of goes into the hatch just a bit. And then I'm imagining you and Alencia only like just swapped spaces, so I'll move you like this. Correct?
Sure.
Yes, yeah, Alencia, let her take a swing. Don't worry, she's not afraid of whatever's on the other side of that door.
But when you kind of connect into the wood hatch, you can see like a couple splinters like kind of like fly away. But I need each of you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
All of us?
Just Alencia and Zanashi. Oh, I'm sorry. Zanashi's. I was like waiting for yours. I didn't even notice that it was included underneath your roll. You did it quick. I was expecting it to pop up after Alencia's. I apologize. Um, but both of you begin to like hear your voice inside your minds, and your eyes will roll into like the back of your heads, and you don't have any control of your body as both of you begin to move in a aggravated manner towards Togo and Modar. And both of you see this with the dancing lights kind of illuminating the room, and Alencia has like her broom at the ready and is like pointing it directly at you, Modar, as Zanashi has pulled her axe out from the wooden hatch and has it in a ready position facing you with an angry look upon her face, Togo.
So Zanashi is facing me with an angry look upon her face.
Correct.
All right,
Zanashi.
all right, Togo. I think it might be time to try and get out of here.
I think you're right.
And just as you guys finish that sentence, both of them begin drawing back their weapons as Zanashi takes another step forward as she pulls back her great axe. And then can both of you roll me wisdom saving throws once more, please, at advantage?
You talking about Zanashi and
Yep.
me and Alicia?
Zanashi and Alencia. So as you kind of like pull back your weapons, you can kind of regain your vision, and you see that you're in the middle of an attack going towards both of your companions.
But I do realize they're my companion.
Yes, like now you're kind of come to. You can kind of like in the middle of the attack, kind of like stop it, like I'm probably a little bit awkwardly, but you seem to kind of regained control of your body and your sight.
What the hell am I doing over here?
I was about to ask you the same thing.
Yeah. Why are you looking at me like you want to hit me?
I do not know, Togo.
All right,
The
obviously,
last thing I remember was striking that hatch.
You struck the hatch and you turned around and lifted your axe at me and went to try to hit me.
I turn around and look down at the corpses again, and does it look like the spear is like? Does the spear match like equipment that the other people have here? Is it any sort of markings? Does it look like any of them may have fallen after being attacked by someone else?
Give me a
Like they were
medicine
fighting,
check.
like I'm sorry. Does it look like they were like fighting each other?
Give me a medicine check. So it's like you kind of like look upon the bodies, going from like the one that previously had the spear in its back before Togo took a chunk out of it and removed it. You'll see that its hands are like covered in blood, and upon taking like a closer look and like an investigation upon it, you can see that there's like little bits of like flesh stuck underneath this one's nails. And when you look over to go see the other one, you see the same thing, but with this one as well, you see like a bit of like flesh kind of stuck upon its like canines in its teeth, as and it's just kind of like withering away slowly.
So it looks like they were biting and clawing at each other.
Correct.
Well, I would say that whatever is up there has caused these people to turn on each other down here, just like you just turned on us.
The hatch appears to have like I'll say like a mediocre, like medium sized, like chip, like kind of out of it. But other than that, just like slightly weakened.
Is there anything around here that looks flammable?
No, there's not even like torch, like I'm trying to think of the word for it, like placement holders for like torches to be placed upon. Like this room is completely empty, other than the frozen blood in the bodies.
How
And
did these humans in here see without light? This is odd.
I'm actually going to pull a torch out of my bag and I'm going to light it
I
and I'm
just
going
used
to
the
toss
dancing
it.
lights.
No, he wants to light the door on fire. Is what he wants to do.
I'm going to toss my torch on top of that hatch.
Well, the hatch is like in like the ceiling.
Oh, I thought it was below us.
Yeah, that's why I was saying like you had like an upswing when you got to like the top of the stairs.
Yeah, no, it goes up. Well, we could, Zanashi, if you think that smashing this might be the only option we have. I don't have any means of. Did it look like there was a lock or any sort of locking mechanism on it?
I want to look around the room and see if
No, I don't.
maybe.
Now, I may be wrong. I'm gonna kind of scroll back through the rolls real quick, but I don't think anyone has actually inspected the hatch. You just like kind of laid your eyes upon it and went to town.
I'm going to look around the room, see if I can find any markings on the walls that seem important or.
Give me an investigation check. And scrolling through the rolls real quick, I'm don't see any investigation or any checks that would kind of correlate with that hatch.
I didn't give any because until Modar came in, I couldn't see anything.
Yes, and Alencia, from when I asked, she just like kind of tried to open it. But from your investigation, you can see that like there's like indentations on the wall, but like, I mean they seem to just be like kind of like hands like clawing into it with like sharpened claws, and just like kind of engraved like a little bit of the wall. It's also got like bits of frozen blood kind of like mixed into the engravings. Nothing like super significant, but just you can see like that same pattern around like the outside perimeter.
Okay, well,
Um,
I'm gonna take my torch up the stairs, and I'm gonna hold my torch up to this damn door as I inspect the door. But I'm holding it close enough that I could burn a son of a bitch too.
All right, you can roll me your investigation check, but anybody else got anything else?
um, Modar is keeping his distance up, and he kind of looking. So, Valencia, did it affect you after you touched the door or as you approached it?
I think she said it was after she touched the door. I believe you mentioned it only after you touched the door, though. If it was affecting you, I didn't know about it. Because you warned me after touching it because I was still approaching, but I was staying back for you to try and open the door.
All right. Well, let's give Zanashi a moment. Zanashi, if you see anything, let me know. If not, I'd like to I would like to look at the door, but I don't believe we should be more than one at a time up there right now.
So with that, Tsunashi, you'll kind of see like the light from the dancing lights and like your torch kind of flicker, and you can see a rune engraved upon the hatch, just like a little bit to the side of your axe marking that you've left on the hatch as well.
There's some kind of strange marking on this hatch. I do not understand what it means.
Give me a clear down. Give me a moment to take a look at it. I might be able to recognize it. And I'm gonna approach slowly. And then I'm gonna cast Mage Hand. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Yep. Mage Hand is not concentration. Yeah. I'm gonna cast Mage Hand.
And do what?
And I'm gonna stay back at the bottom of the steps actually here to start with, and I'm gonna have Mage Hand see if it can open the hatch.
So when it pulls onto like the hatch, it doesn't move, and you can feel like this energy kind of like pick up in the air, but doesn't seem to have an effect.
All right. I'll dissipate Mage Hand then and come up and take a look at the rune and see if I recognize it from anything.
Give me an Arcana check. You'll know that this kind of like rune carved on the hatch is directly represented to the spell of hypnosis.
Of hypnosis, you said?
Correct.
Well, it looks like this rune casts the spell hypnosis on anybody that would touch the touch this door. So, does it? Do I know of any way to, like other than casting like disenchant? Do I know of any way to destroy a rune on something?
Give me an intelligence check on that.
Did that not roll out? God damn it all! How did that not?
It'll roll out like once you click it again. Sometimes it does that. I don't want to say every time, but
Fuck. Well, yeah, I just rolled a freaking 19. All right, we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, okay, cool.
was that another 19?
Yeah.
So, you would know that there's a various of ways to like kind of disable it. I mean, you can attempt to do it mechanically, like with your hands, which is, I mean, from your readings, very, very difficult, or you can approach it with using some powerful spells, um, such as like Dispel or um, things of that nature.
Stuff I don't have access to. All right, I'm going to step back with and then cast Mage Hand again, and I am going to. I've got a knife in my equipment. See if I can use the knife to, in Mage Hand, to change the rune and see if it like shuts it off. Try and like chip out, because you said the rune is in wood, correct? Is it like carved into the wood, or is it like drawn on the wood?
It's carved.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use a knife to try and with Mage Hand and try and like slowly like change the rune, chip it, do whatever I can to like just make it not the rune it's supposed to be.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check. And then also indicate on the map where you'd be standing after you cast Mage Hand, because you did specify that you were going to be away from it. Okay. So, like, as, like, you kind of...
Actually, I'll move back here so I can see, right? Like, that would give me a good line of view
Yeah, that's fine.
to be able to see it still.
So, like, when you kind of, like, go up there and, like, kind of, like, jar at it, you can, like, make, like, some engravings and, like, kind of cuts and, like, to the rune, like, kind of giving it, like, more of, like, a displaced style of look. But when you kind of remove the dagger from the wood after you make, like, a good gash upon it, and some of, like, the splinters kind of, like, peel off, like... you'll still feel that, like, same energy in the room go off. You feel that your attempt was unsuccessful.
All right, well, what do we have here?
But I think that's a good place to kind of call it for the night. I know that we kind of got, like, a late start, but I mean, everyone's got, like, work and stuff in the morning, and I know with the
That's fine.
with the long days that everyone kind of had, I'm sure that, like, everyone's kind of, like, ready for sleep. So I do apologize for a shorter session tonight, but this will kind of give everyone, like, a bit to ponder on, like, like, exactly what's going on in the ice lookout tower, since the party has kind of stumbled upon, like, death and decay and this odd, I guess is easily to describe as, like, trapped hatch door. But anyone have anything to say? Lindsay, I'm sure that yours is probably just something as simple as good night.
Just good night for me, man. I'm tired.
All right. Anybody else?
How about get this door open?
Have a good one, everybody.
Yes. And thank you,
Have a good
everyone
evening.
that was watching and tuning in. I appreciate everyone that's been checking out the VODs from the stuff we've been posting. I am, well, so far, I don't want to jinx myself. Seems that the audio has been fixed with some of the earlier sessions having some odd, weird effects coming from my point of view, but ever since, like, making a couple of changes in the settings, it seems to have cleared out quite a bit. And the only issues thus far have seemed to kind of just come from when a connectivity issue in Discord. But nonetheless, I appreciate everyone checking those out, dropping the follows, and everything of the sort. Give a shout out to Makeshift Murray and Mertka 2494 that had dropped some follows over the past couple days while been taking just a slight break. But for the nice ambiance music that we've heard tonight, Sword Coast soundscapes and the maps that we use for some of the tokens and the background 2-minute tabletops. Heroes Wanted Discord channel for helping promote D&D streamers and get them and their channel out there, showing it off to hundreds, if not more people, and Little Goblin Mage for some character arts. But everyone have a good night. Tomorrow night we have Clue as the DM, as Akka is probably going to die because I'm at 4 HP and I don't think we've actually even killed one of the creatures we ran into yet.
No, we've taken half of them down. I thought there's only
Half?
2 left.
Okay, well, I feel a little bit better about that, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna someone's going down. So let's see who it is.
7 nat 20s against y'all will do that.
Yes, I took 2 in a
Yes.
row, and it basically killed my character. It was awesome. But again, appreciate everyone being here. Everyone have a good night. Peace. See y'all tomorrow.
Nice.
Not everybody.
Night.